What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Trent. As usual, hope you all having a wonderful, wonderful day. As you can see here, we got my man Reese and my guy here, Nick. Say what's up to the fellas right quick, or to the ladies doing me right quick.
What's going on, y'all? Reese, sports enthusiast. Y'all already know how I get down. Let's get it.
Yeah, what's good? Nick here, DC guy. Love DC sports and big NBA head.
Bad. So, fellas, I was gonna ask how y'all doing. I mean, if y'all wanna give that spiel, you can, or we can just get right on into the show. What y'all want to do?
I'm ready to go.
Ready to go right on into it? All right, bet. So the NBA draft took place, right? What was your takeaway of it? Like the 1 through 5. Let's try to focus on the lottery because it's a large draft, 2 rounds. I stopped caring after the first round. Like what was y'all thoughts on? What was y'all thoughts on?
Shoot, I mean, here's my biggest takeaway. I think pick number 1, everybody thought it was going to be Jabari Smith, kid from Duke. People thought he was like a Durant, Tatum-esque kind of player, but just Paolo Banchero, man. The number 1 pick from Duke was a big surprise, I'd say. But honestly, when you were thinking about it, because the core 3 was Chet, Paolo, and Jabari, I think Paolo's the most NBA ready. But I still do think Jabari has the highest ceiling to succeed. But regarding that, though, I do think it's a good pick by the Magic. You really couldn't go wrong, but great pick by them.
Yeah. Okay.
I would even say, too, I mean, really thinking of the top 3 picks for sure, especially with their, I mean, you got to think about their minimum height was 6'10". So you look at, Paolo, Jabari, Chet, you can't go wrong in terms of height. And then you look at teams like, Houston, they were last in rebounds per game. So they were definitely going to go for a big, regardless of what they took. And so, however the cards fell, like Nick said, you couldn't go wrong with any pick you went with.
Yeah, I am curious though, Nick, because like you say it's a surprise that Paolo went first, and I had him going first. Like I made a whole video about it. I'm a Duke fan for starting, so I'm not biased though. I'm just saying I genuinely thought he fit best with that team. I mean, I thought of Chet going there. Him and Jalen Suggs, they had that chemistry. They had that history back in the day. I understand Jabari, his skill set, but when I thought of the playmaking ability that Paolo can bring along with the defense when he actually does focus, because he stepped up his defense in March Madness, and that was key for me because that showed, okay, it's not for a little weekend or this game or this rivalry. You did it for a couple of weeks now. Like I can at least say you can defend now. So for me, he scores. He showed leadership at a young enough age, and I thought he fit that Magic team. But it seems like you might have disagreed, though. I guess.
Not necessarily, but don't get me wrong. Like you mentioned, Duke fan. I'm a big college basketball fan as well. I was watching Paolo, Texas Tech, man. He took over. He led his team to the Final Four. It was unfortunate they lost to UNC, but he's a dog. He has a dog in him. But Jabari Smith kind of flamed out, But when I'm looking at like just potential, I feel like Jabari can translate more. But here's the thing as well. Yes, Paolo's a great player, but let's consider the situation with Orlando right now. That front court's pretty packed.
Yeah.
You got Mo Bamba still. He's a great player. He's there still. You got Wendell Carter, Isaac. It's just a lot of guys, a lot of minutes. But then this is what I was thinking as well, because I don't know if we're going to talk about it, but Christian Wood, remember Wood got traded from Houston to
yeah.
The Mavs had that, not the Mavs, sorry. The Rockets had that spot free, man, and that would have been perfect for Paolo. And I was just thinking, like, wing presence-wise, like Jabari Smith would have been a great fit for the Magic. But like I said, don't get me wrong, Paolo's a great player. I saw the dog in him. He was like the number 1 player coming out of the state of Washington. Just great kid. Like, don't get me wrong on that.
Yeah, okay. And I think something too we got to consider. We look at Orlando and the Thunder. They were both bottom 3 in points per game and also 3-point percentage. So we talked about how stacked they were in the front court as well as the back court. I would say for Orlando, I mean, you got Suggs, Cole Anthony, and Markelle Fultz coming back. So you want to be able to get somebody that can kind of fit into that scheme really well. And I think, kind of speaking to what Nick was saying, having Jabari, who's more of a kind of pick and roll, does have a perimeter game, but you can really get in that pick and roll set. Whereas Paolo, I feel like you want to kind of give him the ball, not necessarily get out of the way, but you're going to have to run sets and put guys in the right position for him to kind of make those playmakers. Because, I mean, the NBA defense, as we know, is completely different. We just saw a guy like Jason Tatum in the finals or in the playoffs as a whole, 100 turnovers. You know what I mean? When the eyes are all on you, it's different when it comes to that playmaking. It's very, very different. But I mean, great pick regardless.
Okay. Let me ask you guys this real quick. It's not necessarily about the pick, but how comfortable are you guys with a Cole Anthony and a Jalen Suggs? Because I stated this before, and this is not, again, because I understand I'm a Duke fan. You know, Cole Anthony went to UNC. I just want to say, disclaimer, but Cole Anthony to me is like Devontae Graham. When you look at their stats, like when Devontae Graham was the man, yeah, he was putting up 16, 18 points, but he was giving you like under 40% shooting. So it's like, it's inefficient. That's why I kind of look at them as that. So it's like, how do you guys view those two?
I mean, here's the thing with the NBA. It's like what I feel like different from like the NFL, NHL, or MLB. The shelf life for these kids is insane. Like, you got to think, like, Jalen Suggs is still like 20. Cole Anthony might be 20, 21, man. They were both true freshmen when they came out of college. The room for them to grow is crazy, and we've seen the flashes from both players. And Suggs, mine, was leading Gonzaga, hit a buzzer beater on the top of the stage against UCLA, man. Like, we've seen the potential. But the issue I have with that is it's kind of crowded. Like, we kind of touched with Fultz, Suggs, and Anthony. So I was about to say this: you got to get rid of one of them, really.
Yeah, man.
Flourish. And I feel like Fultz is kind of the odd one in the room, man.
Really, though, because he's injury prone, right? So he has that injury history. Do you think, will they be able to trade that contract?
I feel like you'd be able to trade it. Probably you wouldn't be able to get enough assets, but we also got to keep in mind.
Take an L for it then. Okay.
Fultz wasn't picked by the team, so they traded him. So
and I would say too, though, you may not even have to trade a guy like Fultz. You could even think about moving somebody like Cole Anthony, who you did mention his inefficiencies, to a 6-man sort of role, kind of how Devontae Graham kind of migrated to once CJ McCollum got there. You know what I mean? You can see a guy like that and his inefficiencies, give him an open floor, no other primary ball handler on the court, and kind of just let him go downhill and attack, which I feel like a guy like Cole Anthony, especially with his leaping ability, is more suited for that 6-man role. I don't think he could be as efficient as a Lou Will or a Jordan Clarkson as of recent, but I do think in terms of growth, like Nick mentioned that shelf life, I think he does need to kind of be on the court alone. That way he doesn't feel like mentally he's not kind of comparing himself to the other lead guard that's on the court. I think Fultz being in Philly, playing with a guy like Joel for the short stint that he did play with him, I think he understands the importance of getting a big man rolling. And so if you can get him kind of in a rhythm with Paolo, and they're both, I mean, Markelle Fultz is probably 6'4". And so, bigger guys, right? And they're saying Paolo could even move to the 5 in some lineups. Now, I don't know if he will be big enough, but with the modern NBA, I mean, he's
220 right now. You can
you know what I mean? And then I think they got Jabari listed at 250. So
I think they had him smaller, like
he's got to bulk up a bit. Yeah,
he's got to bulk up, and I think they got Paolo at like 240.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Paolo can bang down there. That's the thing. That's what I love about him, his versatility. Like he can play the wing and also just bang down low.
All right, so they got Paolo.
They got him listed at 250. Yeah. So I mean, at the 5 position, it can work, especially in a spread lineup. But I do think, like I said, you gotta get them in a rhythm. And I love how you mentioned Chet kind of playing with Suggs. If I was the Magic, I probably would have went with Chet because of that relationship. If you plan on keeping Suggs longer term, it's not necessarily a pick based on skill at that point, right? You're more so thinking chemistry. If I think Suggs will be my point guard of the future, let's give him a nod. Let's make him happy. I mean, you even see the Cavs drafted Isaiah Mobley. I mean, come on. That clearly for Evan Mobley. You know what I mean?
Like Jalen Suggs ain't produced the way Evan Mobley did. Like Jalen Suggs tells me off his play, you got 2 more seasons, champ. Evan Mobley, I'm like, in 2 more seasons, I'm about to sign you this extension right quick.
Okay.
I'm there. I'm like, that's why unless you're thinking Chet is your guy for the future, let me go ahead and get Jalen Suggs right quick. Like, I can see that thought process, but
I don't know. Because like I mentioned, Orlando bottom 3 in points per game and 3-point percentage. Paolo was at 33.8, only on like 2 3 attempts. but then you had a guy like Chet shooting almost 40, and he's shooting it like 4 or 5 times a game.
Yeah, and I thought of like the 3-point shooting as well. That's why I thought of Jabari. I like his. You could interchange him, and then people sleep on Jonathan Isaac. Like the Magic actually have a really talented team. They just been injured.
God, Jonathan
Wendell
Isaac,
Carter.
before he went down with that injury, he was like second defensive player of the year, right?
Like one of the leading candidates in defensive player of the year. So it's like it was like 2 point. It was like 2 point something steals or blocks, and it was like 1 or something like that. I'm like, that's kind of wild, bro. So like they're getting that bag, and he could score a little bit too. They have some decent. They could have gone a whole bunch of options, like you guys said.
So Nick, I'll ask Nick a question too. Do you think the Thunder picked Chet because they were already locked in with him at that pick? Do you think they expected Orlando to go with Paolo? Because I feel like with Jabari, in terms of the intangibles, I'm picking Jabari over Chet. But I don't know. Chet did win Defensive Player of the Year, like I said, almost 40% from the 3-point line. Jabari was a little under that, but I feel like the Thunder had their mind set that they were picking on Chet, and I think they got a little scared once it was their time to pick. I think they were kind of just like, I mean, we just thought they were picking Jabari first. This is what we got to do.
Here's the thing. I do agree with the Chet being locked in with the Thunder. I do think the Thunder loved him, but we also got to keep in mind that Chet didn't want to send his medicals out to some specific teams. And to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of Chet. I don't really like him at all. I really thought when he went to Gonzaga, he was like consensus top 5 player in the country. He decided playing the WCC, which, don't get me wrong, it's a great conference and all, but it's definitely not a Power 5 conference. So the competition isn't like a Big Ten, ACC, SEC. So he kind of ran from the grind, we'd like to say. But
yeah, I was about to say, it's not a great conference.
There's some solid teams. Yeah, there's some solid teams, but it's like not like insane competition. And just the weight thing itself, like he's telling everyone, oh yeah, I do eat. Then where's like the progress? Like, why am I not seeing you get any like bigger? Like, it's just...
I'm gonna speak for the skinny people out here right quick. It's hard to put on weight. I'm gonna just say that.
Nah, you just gotta.
He need to eat a lot more like how Brandon Ingram did it though. So he doesn't have that much of an excuse. But it is tough.
When you look at a guy too, let's say like Anthony Davis this past season, I've heard things that him putting on weight, trying to build his strength, actually set his medicals back and kind of made him more injury prone because his body, he was a lot more sluggish, probably attributed to his low shooting percentage. I mean, he was shooting 18% from the 3-point line at one point. Do y'all think that in this modern NBA, I mean, muscle and, I mean, you can look at a guy like Jason Tatum, you can tell by his shoulders that you can put weight on that kind of build and it'll kind of go through Giannis. You know what I mean? Guys like that who the weight will fill itself out and they'll still be able to move combatively. But I don't know, for a guy like Chet, I'm gonna be honest, I cannot see him any bigger. I mean, I just can't see it.
Zaga loves their narrow-shouldered kids. You got Timmy as well there, who's pretty big, but he has narrow shoulders. And like you're talking about, I don't know if Chet can fill that body. It's also very concerning. Like, yes, he could develop the muscle, and that could also be a medical red flag, but right now it's a medical red flag. You're telling me that he's going to be able to guard, the top 3 MVPs or MVP candidates this past season. We got Embiid, Jokic, Giannis. They're all big men, all big boys. You think you're going to tell me that Chet right now at 19 years old is going to be able to stop Giannis?
So is he going to be guarding them though? And then you also got to think like I personally think he's going to play help side. He's going to be the 4. Because that's the best. You got to put your guys in their best positions right now. I think 5 long term, he could get that. Like you can get that wiry strength. We've seen Kevin Durant do it. Giannis, he went from looking like me to looking like Giannis. So I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just gonna take some time for Chet. So I know people are saying, oh, how's he gonna guard Joel Embiid? I don't see him guarding Joel Embiid unless they switch off of the screen, which that can happen.
And I will say, a guy like Joe, he is in the East. So when I think about West Coast players, I mean, even a guy like Jokic, right? So with him being on the Thunder, we're looking at the projected starting 5, assuming no moves are made, right? You got Shai, Giddey, Lou Dort, Chet, and then Isaiah Roby. And so I don't know at the 4 or 5 position if I'm scared to go to the rim against either one of those guys. Like, I still don't.
I mean, shoot, I'm gonna be honest too. Like, Chet's not even the most excited big man I am for that team on that the Thunder just drafted. Like the two Williams, Jalen Williams, the one I'm intrigued about. You know me, Reese. I loved Arkansas basketball this year.
I was telling Trey, man. The conversation came up when they were asking, like, who are you looking at in college basketball? I was like, I don't have a team, but I fell in love with Arkansas basketball.
And you remember Jalen Williams, man, number 10.
Yep.
Oh my God! Like they matched up. They beat Gonzaga this year.
Yeah.
Tournament. Jalen Williams. What I see from him is just the defensive instinct and being able to take charges. I think that's one of the most underrated parts of the game.
That's tough.
And that's something that I think he brings more value to the team right now than Chet. Obviously, Chet has more potential to grow, but that's definitely like a sleeper that I feel like that Thunder could utilize down the road because he played 2 years in college, so I feel like he definitely has like a lot of room to be a very good NBA.
I think something else to kind of consider too. You look at the top 3 picks; 2 of them were actually in the West. So we're going to get 3 to 4 matchups. I'm not sure if the Rockets played Thunder 4 times or 3 times, but we're going to get 3 to 4 matchups between Jabari and Chet. And it's going to be right there for the world to see. I'm sure they're going to get one TV game. I know the Rockets and the Thunder aren't really the most exciting team to play, but the NBA is going to set up the schedule so you at least get one TV game with those two guys kind of competing against each other. And I got to give a nod to Jabari off of his intangibles and body alone. It's just.
Are you talking about individual stats or who wins that matchup? Because I mean, I
don't. Okay, so all right. So looking at the Rockets projected starting 5, we got KPJ, Jalen Green, Garrison Matthews, who is a very, very slept on role player, averaged 10 points per game. Yep, 10 points per game. You got Jayshawn Tate, who actually can do a lot from that 4-man position, undersized. And then Jabari Smith, I'm assuming they're going to round him off at the 5. I'm not sure if they'll make any other moves since they did move Christian Wood. That's the only other guy that I would see running at the 5. And I mean, Jabari is bigger than Christian Wood is. So, I mean, I don't know.
You mean height-wise?
Yeah, height-wise.
I don't know if he can bang.
I thought they were the same height.
That's the issue. I don't think he can bang at 5 yet.
Not right now. I think he can. It's just going to be tough on him at the rookie year. That's all. Unless he bulks up, which could happen. I mean, we got some months left. So, I mean, I just find it hard them going up against Giddey, Shea, Dort even, and then you throw Chet and Poku there. Like that's it. Like Lou Dort's the shortest one at like 6'3", 6'4". Everybody else
and they got Christian Wood listed at 6'9", and they ran him at the center. They got
tough.
And they got Jabari listed at 6'10" in a couple quarters. So
that's tough.
Yeah,
that's tough. So we got to watch that though, because a couple of years they might have Jabari listed at 6'8". You never know. They always be changing height. But Nick, I'm glad you said the sleeper though. So I wanted to ask y'all, who y'all have like a biggest sleeper?
Yes, I got one that I don't think enough people are talking about him. Ready?
Who you got?
Freshman from the University of Nebraska. Probably don't even know who he is. Bryce McGowens, okay? Kid got drafted, if I'm not mistaken, in the 2nd round, pick 46 to the Charlotte Hornets. He averaged 16 points a game and was, I think, Big Ten Freshman Player of the Year. That Nebraska team stunk last year, okay? Not his fault. That's the thing, though, because he had his older brother, Trey McGowens, who played at Pitt previously, who transferred there to play with him, right? Okay. Yeah, Nebraska was a pretty bad team last year, but oh my God, that kid was something special. You could just see him. He could shoot, stroke the ball very well, and just attack the rim. Just a great player itself. Like, yes, he's a 2nd round grade, but I just feel like he has enough potential to be not an all-star caliber player, but definitely a big steal and sleeper of the draft. Because when we're thinking of sleepers, people are just going to say someone that was like the mid-1st round. But I feel like there was a lot of value in this year's 2nd round, man. Like, I
love that you said that point, because right before Trey and I were talking about who you can really consider a sleeper. So, Trey, I'll let you introduce who you said was a sleeper, and then I'll give my answer who I thought a sleeper was. Just talk about who you said before we all went live.
Oh, I said Steph was a sleeper, because when you think of who Steph is today, like, no one thought that. If you thought Steph was in that draft class especially, he's going number 1. Like, I thought a couple All-Stars, like MVP running the league, like face of the league right now.
Right.
Someone said he's the best all time. I didn't think that was coming out of Steph Curry, out of Davidson. Like, nice run, but that's I don't know what is that. Is that too much or?
I don't know sleeper. I mean, he was a lottery pick, man, and you got to remember.
I said, I don't know if I can put a lottery pick in the sleeper category.
He went on those runs, man. He was torching teams. Like everybody knew.
I hear you, but like, who was the guard that the Knicks picked up before him?
Knicks. That was after. Knicks had after. The Timberwolves had 2 picks before.
Oh, Timberwolves. I mean.
Johnny Flynn and Ricky Rubio.
Johnny Flynn. That's what I wanted to point out. Just saying, if Johnny Flynn is picked before you, I feel like you classify as a sleeper.
Well, see, look, and so Nick, I told Trey, I said I would probably using that if we're using a sleeper based on not where they were picked, but where they are now. I would probably have to go Klay Thompson, who was drafted after Jimmer Fredette. Now that's a kind of like, man, I don't know.
Or like Paul George in 2010, the just frail kid from Fresno State, who
grew 3 inches.
Mm-hmm.
But like those two didn't reach Steph's level. That's all I want.
Okay,
I mean maybe Klay on the shooting, like maybe, but
yeah. And then listen, for my sleeper though, I gotta go Jaden Hardy, G League Ignite.
Stop it! I was fan early on, but I fell off a little bit. Like
no, man. And so listen though, I think it really I can't think of the gentleman's name who was doing the draft recap live with Malika, but he kept mentioning, and I think it's something you have to point out. Older people in that kind of media realm are gonna always say kids need to go to college. And so he kept saying every time a G League player was drafted, it was, I personally will go to college. And so I think it's kind of like when we're looking at sleepers now, you look at a guy like Jalen Green, you look at a guy like Jonathan Kuminga who went the G League route. And I mean, I won't say that the G League prepares you better than the college does. But what I will say is you're actually going up against guys who are fighting for NBA roles, and you're NBA coaches, NBA schemes. And so with a guy like Jaden Hardy, I mean, he averaged almost 17 points per game, listed as a guy who can basically get a bucket in any system you put him in. And I think it was really strange that he fell as far as he did, because that's a second round pick. I think he went like 36 or something like that. And I will say though, I thought the Kings were going to go Jaden Ivey early, but because they didn't, picking up Jaden Hardy that late, I'm like, I can't even be mad at it. I can't be mad at y'all. I can't be mad at y'all missed out on Ivy, because you go get a guy like Hardy. I mean,
but here's the thing, Reese. They traded him draft day. The Mavs traded back into the draft, and he's on the Mavs. So that's why I'm going to say I do like that pick. Because here's the thing. I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example of a player from last year's draft whose G League Ignite was a 5-star, committed to Michigan, right? Everyone thought he was going to be the next big thing. He could shoot threes and everything, rebound, the whole 9 yards, right? Isaiah Todd. You guys haven't heard from him yet, right?
No, I know who Isaiah. Listen, I know Isaiah Todd from FanDuel.
Yeah, because he's just been chilling on the Wizards. He's just been chilling on the Wizards. They don't have the right development system. But I feel like a kid like Hardy, when the Mavs are going to eventually lose Brunson to the Knicks, it's going to be a nice spot for him to kind of settle in and kind of develop. So I feel like it's really for second round picks. Yes, you could be the most talented kid in the world. Yes, you could be in the G League, tear it up. But there's a reason why you fell to the second round. But you got to find the right development system.
For sure. And I will say too, kind of speaking to that Mavs system, you look at Dinwiddie and Brunson, it's kind of and people talk, as a Celtics fan, people say this about JT and JB all the time, it's your turn, my turn. And so you look at when Luka plays with another dominant, quote unquote dominant guard, like a Brunson, a Dinwiddie, maybe a Hardy, it's your turn, my turn. And so I feel like it'll be a challenge for a coach like Jason Kidd to kind of, you got to get Luka moving off ball. Even if it's a slight, something I love that Ime did this past season was you had Jason Tatum setting brush screens and back screens for dominant or even sleeper players. Grant Williams, Rob Williams, you just had him come in, set a simple screen. All eyes are on him. Where is Jason Tatum? He's setting the screen. I got Rob Williams cutting back door, ready for a lob. First play of the season. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I think Jason Kidd is gonna have to find out a way to allow Luka to play with other guards without having the ball in his hand. I think that's gonna be super important because I mean, right now, and this is no knock to a guy because I mean 757 Virginia native, AI is who I kind of see Luka's ceiling. You can't really win a championship with just one guy. Even if you move him to the 1 or the 2, you gotta be able to have him kind of move around within the system to kind of keep eyes on him at all times. Because right now, you got a guy like Luka who's just sitting in the corner while Brunson and Spencer did what he does, what he do. And it's because he's not the most athletic, and I understand that. But you kind of got to get him moving to make the defense kind of shift while that other guard is at the top of the key, kind of breaking down his defender. But definitely, I'm going Jaden Hardy. I think he's definitely, especially on the Mavs now. I mean, you gotta look for that guy. You gotta look for that guy.
I like so. I remember watching Jaden Hardy in high school one time, and like the way he attacked the opposing team, I was like, oh, he wants it. I can see this. I can see he he's not scared of the moment. But then when I saw in the G League too, okay, well, getting 17 points, but it's inefficient. Like he when him and I think his brother left the team, they went on a 2-game win streak. Like I don't like hearing and having to read stuff like that. 'Cause, like talent, cool, but intangibles factor in as well. So I hope none of that is true. I hope none of that carries on. Because as a talent, he is like a good player. 6'4", if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that he tried to do more playmaking because as a 2 guard, he is undersized. I don't think he has that like explosive athleticism. So I'm glad he transitioned early on into his career because I don't knock him too much. He's a little young, so I do like that sleeper pick. And I'm glad he's on the Mavs because he doesn't have to play make all the time. You got Luka out there. I think he's actually going to replace Timmy. I think he's going to replace Timmy on that squad.
Yeah, people forget he even exists, man. He's the biggest cheerleader this year.
Yeah, and he's a big contract. They got to get that off the books.
But
I like Timmy.
Here's the thing, though. This is why I kind of stay away from the G League players when I look at a prospect. I don't like G League players, to be honest. Like, yes, they can be like the most talented, but let's be honest. Do we like watch the G League casually? Like, do you just turn on the TV and you're like,
I'm gonna be honest. The main Celtics, they look great. I'm a boss. Listen, and I'm that guy. I'm following everything because the way that we call up players for them to go on the bench and not play, I gotta at least know who's coming on to the bench.
Okay, fair enough. But let's think from the casual fan, okay? Casual fan, just like the NBA team, right? But when it comes to college basketball, they're going to watch college basketball. The big brands, Kansas, Arizona, you know that, right?
Yeah.
But that's why, like, another player that I'm kind of iffy on that I really do not like, but if you just looked at him on paper, you're like, this kid has everything in the world to be successful. Shaedon Sharpe. I am not with him at all. I will tell you why. I will go in. Ready? Like, yes, he tore up EYBL. When they drafted him, we're watching his EYBL highlights, right? He's like showboating, doing his little dances and everything. But he goes to Kentucky to go play early, but just rides the Kentucky bench when that team was like a top 10 team. You had Oscar Tshiebwe, who was the national player of the year on that team. You had Ty Washington, a first-round pick to play with. There was plenty of players. And Shaedon Sharpe he wasn't hurt. He wasn't unhealthy. Like, he just didn't want to play. And that's very concerning to me, because he has gone out and said that he thinks he can be like one of the best players in the league. Like,
oh my gosh. Listen, I am not loving the overconfidence from this draft class. Another guy, I can't think of his name, 6'6" shooting guard. He said kind of the same. He said he had remarks
out of the G League,
Arizona. Yeah,
he was like, he said, LeBron is gonna have to prove to me that he's better than me. I said, come on now, man. Come on.
The confidence. I love the confidence.
You're calling out LeBron James in year 20, Trey. You call that confidence?
That is completely fine with me. Just keep the same energy if you get on the field.
I don't know.
That's all I ask. That's all I like. Unfortunately, we saw how this happened with Lonzo Ball. The only thing was it didn't come out of Lonzo's mouth. It came from his dad's. So I'm a Lakers fan. I can bring it up. So it's like so I'm like, it came out of his mouth. Like no one has to edit the audio. Oh, Braun, I'm expecting you to give him work then. Like, if you don't, trash. Like, it's easy. Like, it shouldn't be that hard to give this man a quick 5 in like 30 seconds. Like, come on now. Like, it really shouldn't. But I love the confidence from the rookie, because then they're gonna learn from this later on. Like, okay, bad. Like when KG was talking trash to Jordan, he was like, yeah, I beat him this, that, third. And then they get cooked right quick. KG, you remember it? All right, I ain't gonna talk trash to Jordan no more. Like,
but I mean, KG though, he actually played with Mike and Scotty before. You know what I mean? So he probably thought Mike was he's like, man, I done played with him before. I know what's good. This is different. This is a little different.
Hey, maybe he was at a pickup run with Braun one day and was like, I can run with him. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not saying the man's smart about it, but it is what it is. I think if I had to pick a sleeper, outside of Mark Williams and AJ Griffin and Wendell Moore, shout out to y'all fellas. Duke, we represent. I'm gonna go. I like Andrew Nembhard. I gotta say, out of Gonzaga. I know we give a little slack to Gonzaga, and when I say we, I meant me. I understand about. I like him. I just sometimes he's too passive. I think he can really take the game over. Like I thought him and Jalen Suggs were comparable. So if the Orlando Magic are high on Jalen Suggs, they should be high on Nembhard. But that would be my sleeper. I'm a fan, and he played well against us too. So I always appreciate that. Like, got to take my cap off.
Nembhard though, because I always told Reese, man, like regarding from a gambling perspective, those overs for Gonzaga games, man, NBA overs, always like 190, because the thing is, Gonzaga runs almost an NBA offense. They can run that really well. And who was in charge of that offense? Nembhard, man. And he was playing with NBA caliber players like Chet and Timmy, eventually if Timmy gets drafted. But just saying,
he came back.
Yeah, I mean, Nembhard, he can push the ball very well. So I am excited for that. And I also do think his defensive presence, he's a good floor general. Yeah, so definitely I feel like he has a great ceiling to be a solid NBA point guard.
And listen, if I could sneak in one more sleeper, and Nick told me that this guy is not a sleeper, but let me tell you something. Patrick Baldwin Jr., everybody, all right? And listen, you can pull the record, and I can send Trey the clip, okay? I put on my story, it said that the Celtics were in talks to acquire the Golden State Warriors 28th pick. And I said, you have to take that pick from them because we will see them in the finals again. You cannot allow them to pick in the first round. And then my very next story, it said the Celtics need to go get Patrick Baldwin Jr. 6'10", can defend and can shoot. Did not shoot great his last season. I understand it. It was like under 25% from the 3-point line.
Oh, nah, you can't say he can shoot and under 25% from where?
Listen.
Like 3-point line?
Wait. Here's the thing though, Reese. He played at like Duke or UNC, right? Like Kentucky? Big school, right?
Patrick?
Yeah. Oh wait, no.
He
played out a mid-major. That's why I don't think he's a sleeper. I know. I'm going to lead you on. Here's the thing. He was a 5-star coming out of high school. Okay, a 5-star, was committed to Duke. It's not like he didn't have the offer, but he decided to run from that. Obviously, I respect playing for the Pops and all, right?
So
did play for his dad. Like Wisconsin, I forgot Wisconsin.
Milwaukee, Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin, right?
Yeah.
11 games, right? Well, he wasn't hurt, but here's the thing, though.
Ankles. Come on now.
Right, but if he played at Duke, he would have definitely had the opportunity to play those hypothetical 11 games. I can think of one player that played exactly 11 games and still was the first pick, Kyrie Irving. Now,
I mean, but let's not compare them though, because Kyrie was.
Hold on. Let's talk about him.
No, out of that entire squad,
I'm ready for the conversation.
Was still there, Nolan Smith would not be ACC Player of the Year. I said
right. No, but I'm just saying, like, just Patrick Baldwin, that going from a Duke to that, like, a small mid-major school, who I think their best team they played this year was Minnesota in the Big Ten. It was like one of the worst Big Ten teams, man. I just think that was a little suspect to me, and also just playing very below average was also just something where we've seen players who were highly ranked high school players in college kind of fold and just like never become the player that they were supposed to be. Like when we thought of them in high school. So that's I'm a little involved.
So this is what I will say to that. I'm not, like you said, playing for his pops. I get it, right? But you look at the last time you kind of assembled that amount of talent at Duke, all right? And the last thing that I can think of is when you had Zion, R.J. Barrett, and Cam Reddish.
Not talk about that too much.
Well, hear me out. I'm thinking Patrick Baldwin gets the Cam Reddish treatment. I'm not sure.
On this team?
Not to say that Cam...
On this team?
On the team from last season.
Like this past team, he gets the Cam Reddish treatment.
Yeah, I think they.
So after Paolo, and then you got Wendell, and then you had Trevor Keels hooping at one point, and then you know what I mean we got to talk about Mark, and I can't sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like, and AJ just popped up out of nowhere, where you know, and then Jeremy Roach just
really think about it though.
Like that's tough.
Do you think, Trey, as a Duke fan, that you could have had a 6'10" Patrick Baldwin Jr. and a 6'10" Paolo with AJ Griffin, Mark Williams, and you still got to put a point guard to lead that team? I don't know if there's room.
You just like a coach like Coach K. Like this is when I think of deep teams, though. This is always the example I love. That 2015-16 Kentucky team. Their sixth man was Devin Booker. Couldn't even start on that team, and now look at him right now, man. Like that's
okay, but I wouldn't be mad at Patrick in a six. If he was the sixth man of a team like that, I think he could have thrived in that environment. I also think he could have thrived as a starter, but like that's why I mentioned that Cam Reddish kind of third option. I'm not sure if he was as assertive, because I mean, when you think about it, right? If you're willing to turn down an offer from Duke to go play for your pops, you kind of probably don't have that. You know what I mean? You don't have that.
I don't know, because maybe you really like it is like I played with my dad. Like my dad was a coach before, so it was like it was cool. You know what I'm saying? Having that experience. So I'm sure he's been coached before. He likes that system. I mean, it's comfortable for him. Like as an athlete, you want to be comfortable. So I do get that.
But think about it though. If I'm a scout, I'm looking to guys who. Because think about this. When we talked about this on the last show. Bad teams are drafting first.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get drafted to Golden State. They don't have a pick no more. You know what I mean? So but the Golden State did get them. You see how I did that? See how I did that? You know what I mean? So it's kind of like you're gonna usually go to a bad team where the system probably isn't what you want. You know what I mean? So if I'm a scout, I want to see a guy who can kind of thrive anywhere I put him. And I think that's why a guy like Patrick, aside from the injury, fell as low as he did, which is why I have to consider him a sleeper. Because you think about what the Golden State Warriors have. I mean, you got Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, James Wiseman, Patrick Baldwin. You know what I mean? It's kind of like I can run a starting five of guys who can't even get into the club and have a drink.
It's assets, though. That's the real thing. It's assets.
Yeah.
Curry and Clay, they aren't getting any old. They aren't getting any younger, man. Like,
facts. They realize it.
Window's still alive, but it's very, very. It's smaller by the day. Yeah. So I like Baldwin if he somewhat pans out. Kuminga and Moody and even Wiseman. I think Wiseman's going to be maybe the first one they look to trade because he was the second pick in 2020, man, but just been hurt. But yeah, I mean, I do like the. I wouldn't say sleeper because Baldwin had such a ceiling, but I do. Baldwin does have potential to be a good player in the league. I will say that. Okay.
Especially with the Golden State development. I mean, you think about how unorthodox Steve Kerr is when he throws in lineups. He's putting guys in the game who probably never played with each other the entire season.
I think anybody's going to look good in the Warriors lineup or system because Marquise Chris got a second opportunity. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful, but like his start. No, and that's what I'm saying. Like his start though was, you know, like, it was like it was the organization. It didn't really fit for him, but like vitalized his career now. So like he's back on track. So I think he gonna be good. They're gonna be fine. You know, the Warriors are always a good organization, but like, who do y'all think are some bad organizations? They're like, who's gonna be returning in the top 5 for 2023? Like I'll
give you one then. I do love what they're doing, but the Indiana Pacers, man.
Oh my God, you got me. You took one. You took one.
Tyrese Halliburton, I love him. Great point guard. Benedict Mathurin, I think he's going to be a great player. They still have Hield, who I think they're going to move off from Hield. But other than that, I mean, they have Jalen Smith, who I feel like will a great opportunity for him there, because the Suns, when he went to the Suns, it was definitely a lot of pressure on a playoff championship team to like succeed, but definitely there. But outside of that, it's like they have Isaiah Jackson, who made some like highlights like this year, but other than that, I don't think they're that good next year.
I mean, let what's old boy's name? He went off in the bubble.
TJ Warren. Missed all the
TJ Warren coming.
That's the thing. I feel like they're going to move for him as well.
Celtics TPE. He fits it.
You with this TPE. Yes, oh my God. I thought the Suns were stupid for letting Jalen Smith go, by the way. Like, I really thought they should have kept him.
Trey, what did I tell you though? During that playoff run, you were like, I think Aiden got hurt, or his minutes got limited oddly on some case. And I was like, they need to insert Jalen Smith now. And they waited too long. You can't, like Nick was saying, with championship pressure, you can't have a guy who I think he's a very talented big, especially. You can't have a guy like that just not playing games. Practice? Really? Come on. Practice?
We're talking about practice.
You got to put him in the game and let him actually play. And when he did play, he showed something. But if you're not getting consistent minutes, and we all know Chris Paul can make any big look great. So if I'm Jalen Smith, I want to be on the court with Chris Paul. I don't want to be on the court with Cam Payne. No offense to Cam Payne. But I want to be on the court with CP3.
Yep.
Let me get, because all eyes is on CP3, so I know I can jump with this wingspan and put that thing right down. I know that.
It's easy, and it's going to be placed right. Maybe they trade for, maybe one of these teams can trade for CP3, because I do think he needs to leave the Suns low key, because Ayton might be gone. You know, it's going to get a little fishy over there. Hell, they might be in the top 5. Who knows?
Hey, listen.
I'm joking.
Wait, hold on now.
Unless they blow it up, they would have to blow it up to get top 5.
Okay. So Nick took the Pacers, and we cannot ignore the fact that this team has 17 picks until like 2027. The Thunder will be back in the top 5. Really? They're going back. I mean, you don't have that many first round picks. I mean, at one point they had a starting 5 of all of their picks. I mean, they don't have any veterans. They don't have anything figured out. They're talking about maybe moving Lou Dort. If you move Lou Dort, your defensive anchor, that's it.
No,
you know what I mean, especially in the West, we're having wing depth.
I mean, I agree with Reese too, because here's the thing: Dort's on his last year, and do they want to pay him? Like, that doesn't fit the mold with what the Thunder want.
What's the point of? I mean, unless they put him on a team friendly contract, maybe let's say 10 to 15 mil for 3 to 4 years.
But like, what is Lou Dort worth really? He is a 6'3" guard who has to be guarding small forwards.
He could fit in a playoff team. Like my boy LeBron, he could use Lou Dort. Like, LeBron needs some help now.
But like, I mean, I know he had a good game shooting one time, but like, I don't know if he completely fits. LeBron, won't.
We see what a guy like Matisse Thybulle is doing for Finley.
Sitting on the bench.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, like, yeah, like, you're right. I do see where you're coming. Like, yes, it's important to have a guy like that, but when it's playoffs, there's no more time to just like mess around, right? Like, a guy like Lou Dort and Thybulle, that's a great point. Just, they don't provide any offense, but I think Dort does provide a little more offense
than Thybulle, for sure.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Well, but I will say though, that's kind of being on a rebuilding team where it's kind of like somebody got to take the shots. Somebody got to shoot the ball. I mean, shit, if not, we just going to be passing it around the whole 5 circle. I mean, everybody touching the ball every play. Somebody got to shoot it. That's why you see a guy like Shai. I mean, he shines in that offense. I was really surprised to see the Thunder pay him. I mean, I understand though.
Nah, you lock him up. He's locked up.
I know. But what I'm saying
so
is, I mean, he got the super max for what is, you know what I mean, for what it said. That's a big contract. So obviously they plan on keeping him around for a while because you can't really move a contract like that within the next 3 to 4 years.
I don't know, because these contracts gonna keep going up, and you lock in someone like that, like Giddey. If they wanted to trade Giddey right now, like this man's contract is like 5 to 8 mil, like average, for like over the next 5 years. Like it's wild. Like they're sitting pretty.
I don't know Giddey though. I feel like Giddey's a project, man. Like he obviously triple double threat. Don't get me wrong, but like coming from Australia, right? It's kind of like kind of how Nick talked about the G League. Kind of like when you come from Australia, if you're not Luka at 16 winning championships, what are we really doing other than kind of a project to pass the time?
But you got a Shea who's like, or Ja who's getting a bucket. You need somebody to pass the ball. Because you just keep the ball in his hand, it's going to keep going to the bucket. Like, this man's like a triple-double threat, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like
Listen,
it. It's like a yin and yang. Hey, they do. They just don't always get you to the chip, though. Like, it takes a team. It takes a team. Jordan learned that, you know, and I'm not even saying Ja is like Jordan. I'm just saying he needs a team, though. I know the Rockets are going to be here also. Really, if your team has anything to do with space, or stratosphere of any kind, like it's gonna be tough for y'all, I think.
You know what's crazy though? I had the Rockets down via the Nets.
Well, what do you mean?
So like,
my brain's in a blender now. What do you mean by that?
They have a pick swap right now, and so the Rockets have the Nets pick, and I put the Kyrie jersey on for a reason because I had to talk about it.
I'm okay because you're blending into the next segment. Okay, no, that's cool. That's fine.
Brooklyn ain't looking hot. That's all I'm gonna say. Rockets via the Nets in that top realm because it don't look like they're gonna have much come. Listen, we got 4 days until the free agency kickoff. I mean, hey, let's see what it's looking like. Let's see what it's looking like.
It could look a little tragic.
To go back on the Rockets, though, I do think, they'll probably be in the top 5. But I've been the biggest advocate for Kevin Porter Jr. since day one.
Another triple double threat.
Day one when he entered the Rockets, or like while he was on the Cavs too. I'm just making sure I got the clarification.
When he was on the Cavs. But here's the thing, like, he's still young, man. Like, he just needs like the right coaching staff, the right like group to like support him, because it's been evident that he's had some off-court issues. Like, he flipped out because they gave his locker to someone else. But like, he's talented, man. He can score, pass, rebound, everything. He just needs to get like everything together. And once the Rockets figure it out, they aren't going to be bad for the next 50 years. Like, they'll figure it out eventually. But definitely, him and Jalen Green's going to be a dangerous backcourt.
And they talked about it during the draft too. And that Rockets team, they're letting those guys play.
Yeah.
Free, if you want to call it. They're letting them guys hoop. I mean, however you want to show up today, you can get some plays called for you. Are you going to show up today? Because we can do it.
Mm-hmm. Like, you can tell just off the play
right now.
Yeah, Jalen just be throwing that thing up. Like,
that rainbow jumper, man. That rainbow jumper is crazy.
At all. Hey, but that thing be dropping though too. I can't hold you. Like, it was a little inefficient, but he hot now. He hot because you still got to worry about like him blowing by you.
I think he got hot against the Lakers a couple times.
I mean, who didn't get hot against the Lakers? Like, we didn't make the play-ins, Reese. Like,
my fault.
I'm okay. Like, look, Jordan said it earlier on the show. I'm conflicted because I have LeBron James on my team, so I'm not going to hate on my squad. I want us to win. But if he loses, I mean, all right, that's a good consolation prize. Like, I'm
LeBron's biggest fan. I'm sorry
to hear that. We can find the cure. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. We'll send you a Kobe package and everything. Get you right. Nah, that's So I know, okay, me and him gonna have a nice little discussion at some point in time about Braun. That's gonna be interesting. But we got right now though for the top 5 of the trash squads. We got the Rockets, the Pacers, the Thunder.
Wizards.
That's tough. That's tough. That's tough. That's tough, Brad. I'm not gonna say that. I can see it though.
Brad Beal ain't. Come on, man.
Here's the thing that's going to happen for the Wizards to be a top 5 bad team. And don't get me wrong, it could happen. But here's the thing: we'd have Beal to leave, and then from there you got to move Kuzma, KCP, and all those guys out. Okay, the Wizards aren't bad enough to be like bottom 5. But
I make that comment. I do believe that Bradley Beal is going to leave. It's been rumored that he is going to sign that 5-year deal, so he can only leave by a sign and trade at that point. Y'all actually may get talent back if he does that. But say he doesn't and just kind of walks the free agency and signs a 4-year deal, whoever will sign him, right? Maybe Boston because we have the cap space. But you know, that's neither here nor there. But you look at a guy like Kristaps. He really may only give you half the season.
Mm-hmm. Hasn't played a healthy season. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was kind of sort of thinking I can only have Kyle Kuzma giving me a triple-double once a month for real. You know what I mean? KCP only going to really hit 4 threes based on the way my bank account looking off of that FanDuel thing about once a month. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, really?
I wouldn't bank on KP giving you anything, bro. You said KCP.
Yeah, KCP. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said KP. I was like,
KP probably gonna be on the bench. Yeah.
Nah, he gonna start.
No, I'm talking about with a free injury. He gonna be on the bench somehow.
Oh,
yeah, he gonna find his way there. He gonna find his way.
I mean, I don't know, but John Davis, like, I really do like the kid. I'm a Big Ten guy. I go to a Big Ten school right now. I like the kid, man. He's a great rebounder. Does have questionable shot selection. Don't get me wrong, but I love the kid. What he can bring.
Yeah, facts. Like, he's scrappy. Like, he plays defense. Like, when he shot was trash one game, but he was hustling. He was running. I was like, oh, you don't give up, and that's somebody you can always appreciate. Like,
for sure.
I'm always rocking those people. But a surprise team though that y'all think might be in this top 5. Reese, you already said the Nets. Low-key kind of stole one of mine. It's cool. I'm not mad. I'm not really mad.
Go ahead, say it. Who else do you think will be in there? Say it.
I mean, I'm gonna say the Jazz just because I think they need to. They got to. Like, I hope so. Like, for them, I hope so. Like, but people, when I say that, if I say your team should be in the top 5, like, I would love to say my Lakers should be in the top 5. But, like, when I see comments like this, Kyrie to LA, that's a real a realistic thing.
Even though he would have to give up $30 million, which is just like
Russell Westbrook. You mean contract? Oh, he would. Oh,
he would. To just sign there, he would have to give up $30 million. Like, straight up. He's made
enough. He's made enough. He won a ring. He'd be good.
Nah, man. I don't know. I can't remember what the guy who said it. You could never make enough money.
I mean, that's true. Actually, no, it's not. I lied. You can make enough. Like, you might, like, if are you happy? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, he got to be happy. So if it makes him happy to lose $30 million and go get a chip, cool. Like,
go get a chip is crazy. Whoa. Let's slow down.
You don't think Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis can be a title contender?
It looks like
they have to beat the champs first before I can say that. Twice. They got to at least take 2 of them games against Golden State during the season for me to be like, all right, they title contenders. You know what I mean? Because I use the term title contender very loosely. Because I'm going to be honest with you. Back in January, the Celtics were not title contenders. It took us being in the finals for me to say that we were title contenders. So I don't know. I give it to you, though. Talent-wise, you still have to fill that team, though. Around AD, LeBron, and Kyrie, you got to fill that team around them, man. You got to fill. Don't get me wrong, though. LA, people love LA. It's sunny. Stars are always out. but you gotta still fill that team. Stanley Johnson is kind of y'all's fourth man in that starting lineup right now. That's tough.
I love Stanley Johnson, by the way.
I know, but that's still tough.
He's solid. He's solid. Like,
he ain't
I
Andrew
like
Wiggins.
players like that.
He's not.
But Andrew showed you though. You don't got to be the best player. You just got to excel at your role.
I'm gonna stop you right there. Number 1 pick, 17 points per game on his career. A lot of guys ain't averaging 17 on their career. Andrew Wiggins.
I said the
17.
best. I said the best. I said you don't have to be the best. That's all I said.
I mean, here's the thing. I'll interject though. Yes, Wiggins did have those expectations as Canadian Jordan. You know, he was supposed to be the number 1 guy. Right?
Oh yeah, Maple Mamba.
Oh yeah,
Maple Mamba. That's
like, he did have the expectations, but boy, did he not live up to them in Minnesota, right? When Minnesota traded him for D'Angelo Russell, everyone was calling Golden State crazy, man. They said like, what are you doing? You're overpaying this guy. But Wiggins found his role. He developed confidence needed and found the role. Yes, he's not the superstar. He's not going to give you 30 a night. He's not going to be the highlight flashy guy.
Hey, but he can give you 27 and 15 in the finals.
And you saw him crashing those boards. He found his role. I'm a big fan of Draymond Green. Draymond on his podcast was saying how like Wiggins' career high in rebounds prior was like he got his career high in rebounds in the finals.
For sure.
You have to have some dog
by a wide margin.
Exactly. So like we're kind of like touching on it. Like if Stanley Johnson finds the role, he's the kind of guy that, oh my God, his high school highlights, man.
Yeah.
He was highly touted and he had the athleticism and the size to like go with the NBA modern day now. Like he's just not overly skilled, but again, I don't need him to be. I just need you to be a hustle player. Like that. Yeah. Be Russell Westbrook.
Hit open shots. Because man, people do not talk about how many open shots are missed. I saw a graphic earlier today with like the top 5 missed layups and dunks. Russ was up there. RJ Barrett, Jason Tatum was at number 5 at like 270 layups and or dunks missed on a season. I'm just like, imagine a first team All NBA player being top 5 and missed layups and dunks. That is MVP next season, Jason Tatum. You heard it here first. Because we're gonna miss 135 layups instead of 270. Yep, we cut the number in half.
It could happen. Or y'all could be at the bottom of the top 5. Like who knows? Next year anything can happen, right, Reese? No? Okay. I mean, I thought I asked you. Yeah, I guess not. Nick, who do you have though as a surprise team?
I mean, your Jazz, that was a good one, man.
That's a good one.
That's a really good one because they could blow it up. But I wouldn't need to. I just looked at this, like, I just looked through all 30 because I wanted to kind of refresh, man. But I'd say, I wouldn't say, they aren't a good team, but I wouldn't say as, like, surprise, but definitely, like, people wouldn't commonly think maybe the Knicks. I feel like
I knew you were going to say it. I knew it.
Yeah,
RIP Knicks fans after that draft.
Like obviously, it's not that flashy of like a pick. Like, boy, that Jazz one, I can't get over it. But the Knicks, man, like just Julius Randle, one of the biggest regressions last year. I still can't believe he won MIP, man. But Julius Randle, they're probably going to overpay Brunson eventually. RJ Barrett's kind of just doing his thing, but it's just a bad team. Like
I think RJ Barrett is by far the best player on that team, though, man. Especially his last 25 games. If you can really get a guy like RJ Barrett giving you 5 assists per game, that is winning basketball right there. I was playing it on FanDuel again. I'm gonna keep plugging FanDuel. I played that 4 to 8 assists for that last 20 to 25 games, and I made some money because I don't know what they changed in their system. But RJ Barrett was given kind of we're going to ask you to playmate. And I think that's when the Knicks in that last stretch were at their best. Julius Randle argues way too much with the referees for me. Like you said, though, Nick, I can see them. I can see them in that bottom 5, though. I can see it. Even if we're talking bottom 5, if they're like 25th in the league, I can see that. I can see it. It's the Knicks.
And people forget Cam Reddish is on that team. And boy, Thibs does not give him any food, man.
And I don't know why.
He's gonna be coaching them still. I mean, he blackballed Kimba during the season for being Kimba. He didn't do anything but smile and give you a triple-double on Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man.
Like I wish the best for Kimba, bro. Like that.
Yeah,
I had the Knicks and the Nets on my list. I put the Spurs there too.
I got the Spurs on my list too because of that whole DeJounte thing they got going on.
It's like, I don't know. Y'all looking a little shaky. But
they're one big away from being somewhat of a good team because
who's gonna go there? Who's gonna go there? How are they gonna get there? What assets do they have to give up? Because when I look at the guards that they have, none of them are overly spectacular. Like I like Keldon Johnson.
I got Derek White.
Cool. DeJounte Murray straight. Derek White been gone. Like, I mean, I like Lonnie Walker, but like he's still like a project. I mean, like who do they really have on that team that you would say, okay, I'm willing to take this player?
Draft wise, what they got? Malachi Bradnam from Ohio State. I think he's a really good player. Shoot, I mean, Jeremy Sochan. I'm really high on him as well.
I saw something that they're looking for Devin Herter from
Kevin Herter from the
Kevin Herter, yeah. Kevin Herter as well as DeAndre Hunter. They're thinking DeAndre can kind of be that Kawhi-esque.
What are they up for that?
I like DeAndre. Shout out to the Lakers for not getting him when you traded for Anthony Davis, you bums. Oh my gosh.
I don't know, man. I think DeAndre Hunter, I think the asking price for him will be way too steep for the San Antonio to be able to acquire him, unless they just gave the Hawks DeJounte Murray. Now that, I don't know. And then you kind of start your rebuild with the champion from UVA. I love champions.
That's awkward, though. If I'm the Spurs, that's awkward. Like
yeah,
Kevin,
backward either. Just DeJounte and Trey, like that. That's like.
Well, at least DeJounte's 6'4". So,
yeah,
but I like Trey being the 2 guard.
Yep.
With DeJounte,
but
like opposite, like flip it though. Like I don't. You're kind of limited. They both could play. Like I don't know. It's a good pairing because defensively he's not bad either. He's lengthy, so it has some potential.
You talking about DeJounte Murray?
Yeah.
You talking about some? Okay, hold on. We gotta not bad. He led the league in steals. Okay, not bad is an understatement. He is good defensively. Okay, I'm just saying. You said not bad. I don't want to skew the audience. Okay, leading the league in steals.
He's an all-star, and he deserved it.
Okay.
I'm not trying to discredit. DeJounte Murray.
Because the Celtics should still be looking at. I don't want Brad to pull up the podcast and be like, "Ooh, Trey was like he ain't bad." Nah, I need to make sure we push the narrative. DeJounte Murray can be a starting point guard defensively. I'm just saying.
But here's the thing, though. This is why I'm kind of like high on the Spurs. Because they're like one guy, and I feel like the one guy that they could potentially get sneakily, DeAndre Ayton, man. Think about all those bigs that have been in. You had David Robinson.
I like him I like the David Robinson.
What do you think Popovich's tenure is, though? I only like the DeAndre Ayton pickup if Pop is gonna be around for 3 to 5, and I
can see 3.
But here's the thing, I
could see 3.
Assistants literally run the league. Why is his name blanking in my head, though? The Memphis coach. He's part of the Pop tree. With the Bucks.
Yeah.
He's part of the tree.
Even
Kerr.
The guy who just got let go in Charlotte. I know the Popovich family tree is deep. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, if I'm DeAndre Ayton, I don't know if I'm signing with the Spurs if Pop ain't giving me 3 to 5. Now, does he have to pull up with a cane or a wheelchair? That's cool with me.
But what if DeJounte Murray stays? Would you stay? Because now you got a better point guard. Like what you thrive in this situation with point guard. So better point guard going forward.
DeJounte Murray's a better point guard than CP3. Did you just say that?
Going forward,
DeJounte has a higher ceiling in his career now.
Okay.
Like I'm about to say, you want to trade DeJounte Murray for CP3 right now? We can. If you the Suns, I'm sure they love that deal. We can. But the Spurs probably wouldn't want to make that move. So like, unless they think he about to revitalize they team the way he did the Suns and the Thunder. I don't think he does it though. But Like maybe with DeJounte Murray there, maybe you stay because you
So
can
what do
build
y'all
off
think
that.
DeAndre Ayton's? Where should Ayton's top 3 destinations be from an agent? If you're a DeAndre Ayton's agent, where do you want him going? Not as the player, but as the agent.
Agent. See, well, here's the thing: the agent, they don't care about how you're like if you're going to win or all. They only care about the dollars.
Yeah,
They're thinking about from an agent and like player perspective where he could succeed and also get the max dollars. I still think the Pistons are in play, but the thing would be that there would have to be a sign and trade with Duran to the Suns. He would have to be involved in that. But I think that he could still get the max with the Pistons. But like I said, I do love the Spurs fit, so I put the Spurs. So definitely the Pistons for Spurs.
Yeah, I feel the Pistons as well. And to be honest with you, I actually do think the Suns might entertain that trade because you get Duran back, who is someone who's younger. So while you lose some experience, you have other pieces on that Suns team who can help compensate what you lost with Ayton, while you're also getting somebody who can just set screens and go dunk the ball and help Chris Paul out that manner. So I mean, and he can defend the ball as well too. He is NBA ready in terms of like physicality wise. So they might entertain that along with some other picks or some other players. But I don't know. Like I halfway want to see Ayton on a Miami team, low key. Just like, but you gotta keep Bam though. You gotta keep him with Bam because I need Bam to slide to that 4 position. I like Ayton at 5.
Play 4.
Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto would be nice too. Toronto would be nice.
Pascal got to get off of that 5-man spot, man.
But you gotta see what they do with Christian Coloco too, though, because like I think he is not the most skilled player out there, but the boy is still 7 foot. So I mean, they may say that word.
You get Spicy P at that 4 spot. Put Aiden at your 5. Fred VanVleet, because I think they'll probably just have to move OG, Thaddeus Young.
Stop it! That's disrespectful. If I'm the Suns, I'm asking from OG and Thaddeus Young for.
Well, I'm talking about from a sign and trade cap matching, right? Salary matching. I can give you 3 to 4 first round picks if that's really really will sweeten the pot. But I'm saying,
want to keep Siakam, I'm asking for Scotty.
What?
I'm going for it. I'm going for it. Hey.
Okay, so would you trade? Would you move?
My third option, worst case.
Listen, would you move Spicy P for Aiden?
No.
Okay, then that's what I'm saying. I don't know, man. OG is on his way up out of there. I'm telling y'all that.
Yeah, he's gonna get a solid contract too. But he's not bad. He's not bad at all.
He is. It is. What did Kevin Durant tweet? It is a wings league.
Yeah.
If you can play defense and hit a 3 and get to the basket, the asking price. Hold on. What did Mikal Bridges just sign for? Hold on. Because if I'm OG, that's the minimum. What are we looking at? 4 years, $90 million? Yeah. As a 3-and-D wing, they paid him before they paid DeAndre Ayton. If I'm a 3-and-D wing and I see that,
yeah, that's a good point.
I'm starting at 75-80. If you want this.
Did Mikal come in before Ayton? Or was it the same year?
Yes.
That could have factored into it as well if he came in before.
Yeah, I think you got that right.
Let me look real quick. Because I think
Bridges 2018.
Yeah, and then and Aiden was he number 1? Yeah, he was number 1.
That was the same draft.
Aiden was number 1. Yeah, so that's a good point.
Draft class, yo. Come on.
That's tough.
He had been drafted. He had him draft night because he was initially drafted by the Sixers.
Yeah, I remember that.
Come on now. I'm telling you, DeAndre Ayton cannot stay there. You paid this man before you paid me. And trust me, I like 3-and-D wings. Don't get me wrong. Bridges gave you whatever he wanted every game. He played every game. Don't get me wrong. But guys, 3-and-D wings get the pass on productivity as long as they're playing in defense.
But like Bridges still hooped this year for me though. Like it won't the same as like prior year type stuff. But he gave me 14. Like you want to talk about? I mean, all right, we got 14 points with 53% from the field, 37. Like that's not bad for what I need from him. Like,
are you paying? I'm saying you're paying that before a perennial big. I mean, think about big men in the league. Are you finding an Aiden anywhere else? I'm not saying you're gonna find a Bridges anywhere else.
You had someone who almost could rival this man in a couple seasons in Jalen Smith.
Ooh, that's a hot take.
That's a really hot take. That's a really hot take.
I'm just saying. Like
I didn't know that you were that high.
I don't know about rivals because
I like Jalen Smith. Now will he get to that point? I don't know that. I'm saying he can because I mean it's still early. He got traded like mid-season, and what's going on in Indiana? Like really? Like I don't like let's give him some little time, figure it out. But I do think he has the tools that could say, okay, I could utilize him and he can be effective in the same way Ayton can. Like, I think Ayton can be a 20 and 10 guy. I also think Ayton needs a point guard, and I think Jalen Smith needs one, but Jalen might eventually not need one as much. Just
really?
Like that.
I think if you are a 4 or a 5, you need a point guard. I think
Jalen's a 4 though. I think
right. I'm saying as a 4 or a 5. At the end of the day, Jalen Smith will not be bringing the ball up down the court. That's what I'm saying. So you need a guard to at least bring the ball to you.
Yeah, on the perimeter.
Not saying that like this though, right?
You trust better.
Well, no, I was gonna say though, Spicy P is bringing the ball up. That's a 4 who can initiate your offense. Jalen Smith and DeAndre Ayton, I don't think are ever doing that.
I think Jalen Smith can. I don't see DeAndre Ayton ever doing that.
I don't know if Jalen Smith can though. That's the thing.
That's tough. Listen though, Trey. Again, I did not know you were that high on Jalen Smith though. That is tough.
Yeah, that DeAndre Ayton to Jalen Smith was interesting.
So I like DeAndre Ayton. I'm saying it could be like potential like from like years down the road because he's still got to develop some stuff. He got some stuff to work on. Both of them do really.
For sure.
Because Ayton's ceiling could be a little higher too, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. But you know, we could see that. Now, I just want to ask y'all these real quick because we kind of talked about them, so I don't think we're gonna talk about them too long. But the Pacers, right? We're gonna spend a little time on the Central Division, the Pistons, the Bucks, and the Pacers. The Pacers pick. How are y'all feeling about it? Like overall, do you think it's going to work out eventually, or is this just one name missing?
Oh yeah, that's the guy who I talked about earlier. That 6'6" guard out of Arizona, Benedict.
Mathurin.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if Braun ain't better than him, then how can I say it ain't gonna work out? You know what I mean? It's kind of like
okay.
But listen though, looking at his highlights, because I didn't watch a lot of Arizona ball. Mm-hmm. I love guys because I love this about Jaylen Brown out of UCLA. Not scared to get on the rim. You need if you're going to be a big guard, a 6'6" that's going to run the 2 and not the 3.
Yep.
You can't be scared to get on that rim. You can't just always be giving me fadeaways and spot up jump shots. You got to get on that rim and be aggressive. And he didn't seem like he really ever faltered when it came to getting on the rim. So I like the pick, especially next to a Tyrese. You know what I mean? I think they're going to move Buddy too. But say you keep Buddy at your 3 or your 2 or however y'all want to play it. You know what I mean? You need a guy who's going to put his head down, get to the basket. It's so important in terms of opening up everything else in your offense. You cannot have guys that are timid when it comes down to it. You got to be able to get to the rim.
That's fair. Nick, do you agree? Or
I mean, yeah, like what he was saying, like Mathurin had a great game. I remember against TCU. He has a dog in him. He has the dog. So he's going to be a great player in the league. But I mean, I think the Indiana situation's great for him. They aren't going to be good like for the next 3 years. Like, don't get it twisted. But definitely a great fit. And he was the best player available. It's a great fit. Like playing next to a guy like Halliburton who hasn't been able to play with great players. But now getting a guy like Halliburton next to him, I think he'll benefit very well from just like off ball itself.
Okay. I have a little question about his defense, like the effort that he gives personally. But that's just me though. I don't want to question the man's, effort, but like,
see, Nick and I
feel like
I think it's very interesting that Nick said he was the best player available. I personally feel like, because you hear names like Malcolm Brogdon and Miles Turner and trade rumors a lot. Yeah. And so I feel like if they really intend on moving either of those pieces, you probably would have looked more towards, and depending on which one you move, right? More towards a playmaker. Because Brogdon and Tyrese look great next to each other. You can't deny.
Yeah, that. I think they're banking on Dort and Halliburton as your guards going forward.
Right.
Because Dort was nice too. So I think Brogdon is definitely going to be gone by this season. Okay. He's 29, 30, injured. It has an injury history, but it can still play ball. So
for sure,
people still want him. You could definitely finesse something from the Lakers or even y'all, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now, how about the Jeremy Grant trade though? How are y'all feeling about that? Because I'm not gonna lie to you. As a Laker fan, knowing I could have had this man
one pick,
2025 first rounder, because it was two, right? It was the 2025 first rounder, and then this year's second rounder, right?
That's what I'm saying. Year. We're talking about one pick. We're not talking about second round picks.
That's one pick. That's disrespectful. I'm sure Draymond Green would feel some type of way right now.
He should.
He can lift all 34 guys ahead of him, man.
That's tough. But now, how do y'all feel about that?
Nick, I'm gonna let you go first, man.
Shoot. Grant. Here's the thing, though, because you were saying the Lakers. The Pistons would never let that happen. They would never want to trade Grant to the Lakers, man. And think about the Blazers last year. Dame wasn't running from the grind, but the Blazers might be a team that might be bottom 5 next year too, if we really think about it.
I have Portland on my list.
Yeah, if we think about it. But Grant's contract, they wanted to dump that. They weren't going to give it to a playoff contender where he would be able to thrive. So they just sent him to Portland, man. It's a great move for Portland. Portland gets better. It's a great move for the Pistons because Pistons get more assets. And they're also able to free up some contracts for some free agent moves this summer.
I know, Nick, I hear you, bro, but I just cannot believe that Portland, when I say tampering had to be a factor, there is no way. Unless I'm telling you, Jeremy Grant had to have had a say. Literally, I do not want to go to LA. I do not want to go to Boston. I do not want to go to the Suns. It literally, come on. We're talking about a first round and a second round. I can't do it, man. It doesn't make good business sense from the Pistons. The Pistons could have actually gotten something if they really sent him to a contender. They could have demanded hell, even if they got Russell Westbrook back, at least Russ is gonna sell some tickets in Detroit. All you got was a pick.
Detroit's gonna sell some tickets this year, man. I love that young core. Jaden Ivey, stud. Cade Cunningham, stud. And Sadiq Bey had some good games last year too. I forgot what day it was, but there was a day, I think it was the only NBA game where he had 51.
He did. I remember that day. But I just cannot believe that other teams did not have a better package. It had to be something else. And I'm waiting for the 30 for 30 to come out about it. Because it has to be something. It gotta be something, man. You gotta give me something. I don't know,
because look, y'all are talking about the Portland Trailblazers not being a playoff team, top 5 in the draft.
They gotta go.
So here's my thing. I think they're a playoff team. I think they're looking. Hear me out. I think they're trying to follow the same, I guess, baseline as the Warriors did to a degree. because you got Dame, you got Josh Hart, you got Nazir Little, you have Jeremy Grant now. I don't like Nurkic that much, but he's an okay starter. And then you got people like Brandon Williams, who did give you about 10, 11 points off the – oh, no, starting last year, but still he was effective enough. So moving him to the bench, he can be at least a little decent backup. You still got Anthony Simon. Like, they have pieces in place to make the playoffs. Like, and I'm not – I could see them getting the 7-8 seed right now.
So to say that, though, that means New Orleans is a play-in team. Because you got to think about who was in the play-in.
Spurs as well.
You know what I mean? So you're basically saying...
Let's go ahead and kick the Spurs out now. Then we got to talk about the Pelicans. And I love them, but you know what I'm saying? Like, this is my guy. I've been injury prone, so can I really bank on the man? You feel me? Like, I can't. I can't.
See, that's what I'm saying.
NBI's had injury issues too. I love both of them, but you gotta convince me that they're gonna be healthy all next season.
Do I need the Pelicans healthy with CJ, Herbert Jones? Then you got B.I., Nurk. I mean, not Nurk, but Valanciunas at the 5. And Graham at your 6 man, you still need Zion healthy to be in the play-in?
Yes. Like, what you mean, my boy? They where were they this year?
Where were they? They were a bad game away from sending the Suns home a little bit earlier. All I'm saying, and you already know what would have happened. They would have let Zion off the leash against the Mavs, and it would have been barbecue chicken. That would have been it.
It would have been nice if he's healthy, but I got to see it though. I like the Pelicans healthy. They are a contender if they are healthy. Okay, but they gotta be healthy.
I mean, I know it's Dame time, and I'm not trying to say that Dame can't will a team to the playoffs. But
it's not just Dame, though, because you still got Simons out there. You still got Josh Hart. Jeremy Grant is like a respectable defender who can give you about 15 to 20, depending on the situation. I like that. And then you got Nurkic, who now, because of Jeremy Grant there, he doesn't have to be the second option, so he can play comfortable. Again, is it a surefire 100%? Oh, yeah, these boys are going to the playoffs at this current moment? Not necessarily. But can I see a 7th, 8th seed right now? Yeah, I
all right, but here's the thing. Ready? I'm going to list some teams for you, and let's play this.
Go.
Are they better? A healthy Clippers with Kawhi and PG.
No, Clippers.
Oh, we talking about all healthy? No, but again, the health thing will factor in for the Clippers.
A healthy Lakers team who didn't make the playoffs last year.
A healthy Lakers team.
I got the Lakers.
Pelicans
healthy. Interesting series, but it should be us.
Through that. We got Minnesota as well, Denver. Well, Utah we're iffy about right now, but Dallas, Golden State.
Even if you put Dallas, even if you put Utah in that top 5 pick, right? So, like you said, Dallas. What was the team you said before Dallas?
Minnesota. Like
Minnesota. They just win.
They can beat Minnesota. They can beat Minnesota. Stop it. They can
beat Minnesota. Pat Bev is
grade 1 instigator, man. He's going to be in Dame's little head.
I understand that. That's cool and all. They can beat Minnesota. Let's stop playing games. They can beat.
I don't know, man. I'm looking at last year's standings, just those 2 LA teams. It's going to be interesting, like, because Kawhi barely played.
They shake up. I mean, think of literally, you did not have an LA team in the playoffs. That's tough.
Like, Pandemic P's got to figure it out. Healthy Kawhi. Like,
he just got married. That man coming with a different type of chip on his shoulder. He got his wife watching him play now.
Damn, what's nuts though? It's year 12 for PG. Man. Year 12.
I mean, hey, Steph is going into year 14 or 13.
Okay, but let's not put Curry and Steph. Or let's not put Steph and freaking PG.
PG at the 2-way. I mean, I have to give respect to the Clippers because I really see Boston in 5 years healthy, obviously, being on a level as a PG and a Kawhi with a JB and a JT. That's fair. 2-way wings win games. I can put PG on Dame. I can put Kawhi on Anthony Simons. I don't give a damn about Jeremy Grant or Nasir Little. I could care less about them 2 fellas at that point. I take out your 2 guards. What you got?
You said you're gonna take out the 2 guards from Portland?
Yeah. What you got after that?
You gonna take out Dame and Simons, and then you gonna
Well,
also take out Hart too?
I know I can't take out Dame because he just gonna hit you with one of these.
You're gonna have to drag him out of there, man. He ain't running.
You gotta have a like last year was just like an off season. Like he gonna come back. He won't in it, and then he gets injured on top of that. Like when I look at the West, I could see like obviously the Warriors, the Clippers. Okay, cool. The Lakers. We got the Mavs. We got the Grizzlies. We got the Pelicans. The Nuggets. After that, we're talking about what
you gonna name.
I'm saying after that, we're at what 7, 8 right now. Like
I was 8. I think realistically, the Portland Trailblazers.
I named 7. So we will be at the 8th spot, which they got to go up against the Wolves and the Suns.
Make the play-in tournament, and if they win it, that will be their season. They'll put a banner up for that. And that will be the success story for that. But
the Timberwolves will absolutely hang their head on sending Dame.
All right, I wouldn't be mad if you said this year's Timberwolves or next year's Timberwolves is the Blazers. But saying the Blazers would be a top 6 team as like a guaranteed playoff team to make the West.
Who said top?
Well, no, because you said a playoff team.
Yeah.
The 7 through 10
so
is play in.
Okay. I'm sorry. I said I was focusing on 7 through 8. That's why I kept saying 7 through 18. So if we're talking about that, my bad. There,
I can
7 through 8. Even though playoffs is 7 through 8.
Yeah, because I don't agree with the whole. I don't agree with the 7th seed being in the play-in personally. I think that is ridiculous. That as a 7th seed, I am fighting with the 10th seed. Or if I'm making the playoffs, that's ridiculous.
But why when there's a game difference between all 4 teams? Like,
that is if. Look at the East. The East was not a game difference, bro. The Cavaliers had the Nets, period.
And they lost though. So it shows like if you wanna keep that 7th seed, all you gotta do is win. Like
one game doesn't. Here's the thing though, when we look at other sports, baseball, right? They got the 5-game little series. Right, but I don't think one game should dictate like an 82-game season. It should be at least like the play-in tournament's a great concept, but obviously a great concept can always have some ramifications to it. And I think a 3-game series would make way more sense because
you want to add more injury to these players.
No, he didn't say it had to be an 82-game series. We can give him 72.
He said a 3-game series. He said, like, "Oh, you're talking about take out some of the games."
Yeah,
I mean, play.
Yeah, you would have to take off some regular season games if you made them play, and I agree with that. Let them guys at least fight. Because think about it, the Cavaliers were also not healthy right at the time that the Nets got healthy. That's just luck of the draw, man.
But on the flip side, though, the Nets were always unhealthy during the season once KD went down. During the season, stuff happens. It's unfortunate.
They get a flower for getting it together at the very end.
You can't control health, like KD.
I'm
Kyrie saying like, you said what?
Kyrie. I said Kyrie.
He said Kyrie.
We're gonna act like Kyrie wasn't healthy the whole year, or was he a little just?
He had the whole mandate situation,
which was ridiculous. The mandate situation was ridiculous.
That was wild.
I think the mandate has so many holes in it because as an away player, I could play in your stadium not vaccinated. Once that new mayor got in, he should have just been like, "Yeah, this shit is ridiculous. This is ridiculous."
He's a Knicks fan, and what he really thought was they had a shot at making the playoffs, so they're going to cripple the Nets' chances of getting to the play. I promise you, like that. Like there's going to be a 30 for 30 that will drop, and y'all will find out, bro. Because that's the only way it makes sense. There's no reason why visiting players can be unvaccinated and come in and get a bucket real quick, or not, but. So they're not causing a problem to everybody. All right, I guess that makes sense.
But here's the thing, though, because the Yankees, when the MLB started up, they lifted that mandate. I mean, maybe the Nets just aren't the biggest draw, because Nets fans think they are. They thought their Harden, Kyrie, and KD little situation was the draw. They thought they were going to win the East, but Harden just got fat, faked his injury. KD's the only one I'll justify with being hurt. And Kyrie was just his little, I like to call it, he was on his like little circus tour where every away game he'd be able to play like every 3 days. But yeah, I mean the Nets.
But no, the KD won't know. Like when he goes down, they were number 1, number 2 in the East.
Yeah,
and then
sure.
You know they slip all the way down to almost
either, who was a very important part of their squad.
All right, Trey, keep going. Keep us going though. Keep us on track.
I bet. So with that being said, then hold on, I got to disrespect.
I think the Bucks. We didn't talk about the Bucks.
It was the Bucks one. So with this pick being traded, right? It's 2025, and it's 2022 right now, going on 2023. Like, do we expect Giannis to be leaving sometime soon? Because so like you got to like it's like he has to make this Jeremy Grant trade make sense. Like you must be expecting them to be like a low drafting team. Like they have to be, bro. Because it doesn't make sense.
That's like rolling the dice, though. That's a gamble. Like maybe that can happen, but I don't think Giannis did.
I don't think Giannis has a reason to leave. To be honest, he's still the most dominant player in the league right now. Next to Chris Middleton and Jrue Holiday, that's really all you need with a guy like Giannis. I mean, they're gonna be in the conference finals next year.
Giannis,
I mean, Drew's getting a little older now. You know, I'm not the biggest Chris Middleton fan, and you know, he may who's really going to the Bucks? Like, who's going to Milwaukee? I don't know.
You want to play with Giannis though? Who wants like shoot? I think the most.
I hear you, right? But like when we didn't say the same thing for Braun and the Cavs. Like everybody would have loved to play for Braun.
What did Joakim Noah say? What did Joakim Noah say? Do y'all really like to go to Cleveland? Like how many are you vacationing in Cleveland?
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know if I'm going to the Bucks per se. Like
listen, as somebody who works in the food manufacturing business, Wisconsin, they got that they some family people. All right, they more than cheese.
It's a wholesome state.
They more than cheese.
They got the Packers there too, but I think the key part for the Bucks this summer is getting Bobby Portis situational, like figured out. Because I know he wants to be back. The Bucks want him back.
The Milwaukee love Bobby.
Yeah, they love Bobby Portis.
They love Bobby. I mean, I was honestly surprised that the Bucks didn't roll out with the Drew, Chris, Bobby, Giannis, Brook lineup, especially the way that the Bucks play defense. I mean, they're letting you shoot threes. Why would I really care if Bobby's at my 3 or move Giannis back to the 3 now that he's shooting 3 to 4 threes a game? Because listen, he's bailing out. He's bailing out defenses already. So I mean, if he's going to stay on that track, he's basically a 7'3". And I mean, Kevin Durant makes it work. So I mean, why can't I have somebody just
that makes it work? Why not?
I mean, I'm just saying. Listen, Bobby and Brook Lopez, great corner 3 shooters. And so as long as I got Giannis with his head down, Chris Middleton and Jrue Holiday on my wings, I mean, come on, that's a big lineup. Better than the big lineup Boston played. That's all I'm saying.
I think they missed what's his name, PJ Tucker a little bit.
I think they missed DiVincenzo more.
He's going to be a free agent. Maybe he wants to come back. Who knows?
I think they missed DiVincenzo more. I was really surprised that they moved him off of that injury that season. Because I mean, I just feel like you need to get a man a chance to come back and really prove that he was a part of that championship team. I mean,
not really doing much for me. Like not enough to say I want to keep him like that. Like he cool, you know, it's nice. But I'd rather have Alex Caruso than DiVincenzo. Like.
But do you really think you would have had to pay DiVincenzo, like legitimately, to stay on the Bucks? Do you think that he would not have taken a pay cut to run for a championship? I do. Because, I mean, you got Pat Connaughton taking a player option. Pat Connaughton, if anything, is the 3-and-D guard that you would want on any team, even if he's coming off the bench. He took his player option, which is no money. I don't know.
If you if he signed for the pennies, then cool. But if I got to pay him, like I'd rather just let him go.
Yeah, so maybe it sounds like I want to get paid. Maybe he told me he wanted to get paid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because not everybody wanted a chip after a while. It's like, all right, you want your money too. Like that. It's unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is.
It is.
I got a couple quick questions for y'all. When I say quick, I'm gonna just ask y'all the question. Y'all give me the answer real quick. It's the Would You Rather segment. So with that being said, I'm glad you got this jersey on. We gonna slide to you. Would you rather have plus the guaranteed drama or James Harden and the guaranteed drama?
Damn, that's tough. Kyrie or James? I'm gonna have to go James Harden because of where he is. Right? That's what you're saying, right? Him in Philly opposed to Kyrie in Brooklyn.
Well, I just meant just think about all the drama that they've that you've heard of them. Like they're notorious for bringing drama. So you're gonna get Kyrie's drama or like James Harden's drama. Like which one would you rather put up with more?
I'm gonna take Kyrie because James Harden has still not shown up at the playoffs.
And
no matter how you
can I interject?
Okay. Yep. What's up, Nick?
Just let's think about the drama though. Kyrie's is more just like him, like off court, right? But he can still. Harden, on the other hand, is just lazy and fat right now. He's old. Like Kyrie can still.
Hey, he was doing hill sprints. I know you saw that clip.
Yeah. Oh my god. But he had 15. I think he averaged damn near 15 points a game against the Heat. He's just not the same player anymore. Kyrie still has the potential to be the number 2 and number 1 guy on it.
Efficiently too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to figure out the fasting though, because I mean, if he's fasting and playing like that, you can get one good game, and then after that's gonna get.
Well, that's why they gotta go. So, they gotta get a third option in Brooklyn. They got one in Ben Simmons. I wonder if Brooklyn could have sent a pick to get Jeremy Grant, since that's all it could have taken.
They don't got any more.
I don't think they have any more though.
Yeah,
they all.
That's tough. That's tough. Nick, real quick. Would you rather have Jason Tatum as your second option or Andrew Wiggins as your fifth?
Well, you gotta tell me who's the other 4 guys, because I'd easily take Andrew Wiggins.
I mean, that's just the options. Guaranteed lineup.
I would take Andrew Wiggins as my 5th.
Yeah, me too.
Because here's the thing. Wiggins was damn near the 3rd option and 2nd option at times on that.
Okay. How about if we move it to 4th?
I would take him as my 4th too. Third's pushing it a bit.
17 points per game.
Third's pushing it a bit, but Wiggins, he's a guy that could go out there and be the number 1 at times for that team. Shoot, Curry's obviously the number 1 guy. He will always be the number 1 guy. Clay's the number 2 guy, always, obviously. Dre, he had a little rough.
I love that you said that.
I love Dre.
I love that you said that.
Stop after number 1. Tatum, I mean, shoot, you could say he's 1 or 2, 1A, 1B, on that team, but he kind of disappeared at times. Let's be honest. If we're not increase, he did disappear at times. And I just feel like Wiggins as my 4 has the potential to step up as my 1. That's just
I feel like that is not a fair question, and I would like it struck from the record. I do not think that was a fair 5th and 4th option for a guy who averaged. Come on. He is a champion.
But look. Here's the thing, though, right? So I had 4th initially, but I was like, you know what? 4th seemed a little I'm curious. So I started off with 5th. But if he's the 3rd option on the team, and Tatum is the 1st, though, that's the perception. If you knock them down a peg, then it's
I don't know though.
It's similar.
Wiggins, no, listen though. You say Wig as your 5th, that means your center, your 5-man, is at least your 4 or 3 on that team. That is, I am what? No way.
I mean, okay. Let me ask you this, Reese, because this you might like this one. Then, Scotty Barnes or Jonathan Kuminga, who has the most potential?
Scotty Barnes.
Scotty?
Sure. Scotty. Now, and it has nothing to do actually with the Rookie of the Year. I like Scotty in terms of potential more. I get it, right? Jonathan Kuminga jumps out of the gym. Obviously, he's going to give you that effort when he's in there. But I think from a playmaking standpoint, Scotty Barnes already kind of has that. And I think when you think potential, you have to have a guy who can kind of give you it scoring, playmaking, defending. Scotty had no problem guarding James Harden when they played against Philly. You know what I mean? So I think you can put him on everybody. I just have not seen enough from JK as a guy who did not play the last 3 games of the finals, 4 games. Did he play in the finals? You know what I mean?
He did.
But I just feel like Scotty's playing. If you put Scotty on the Warriors, him and Draymond are splitting minutes.
Well, here's the thing, though. Who's in Scotty's ear in Toronto right now, mentoring?
Spicy Pete.
I'm sure. Siakam's in there. Like they have a defensive like culture up there too. So
here's the thing, though. Kuminga, with all that talent, he goes to Golden State, who at the time was a 3-time champion. You got Kerr, who's a top 15 coach all time. Like, no disrespect to Nurse, but I'd take a guy who's won it all multiple times in his playing career and coaching career, right? But then you got Iggy. He's a Finals MVP. He's won 3 rings at the time too. Now 4. You got Dre, defensive guy. You got all these vets ahead of you. And I like how Draymond put it on his podcast. You got these guys, because Iggy barely played in the finals, but he knew his role. Kuminga, knows it's not his time right now. But, the thing I took away from that was Iggy, when he was sitting on the bench, he knows, damn, man, I won 3 ships. I'm a Finals MVP, but I'm not playing, but I'm still going to try to contribute from the bench and lead the team. And that's just an example that Kuminga can take away from that, man. Because Iggy's not playing, but he looks over to his right and just sees Iggy still engaged. So Kuminga knows it's not his time, but with all the development that Golden State has, his time's eventually going to come. Curry's not going to play forever. Dre's not going to play forever. Clay's not going to play forever. But there's going to be a time where Kuminga, in 5 to 6 years, it's his time. And I feel like he has more room and potential to grow. But don't get me wrong on Scotty Barnes. There was a reason why he was Rookie of the Year.
Yeah,
man. I love Scotty. I love Scotty, bro.
I love Scotty.
So I actually think the Warriors are a phenomenal organization, by far one of the best ones I've seen. They only made one stupid mistake. That's not getting LaMelo Ball. Because you see the damage that they've done without James Wiseman. I'm like, you could snag LaMelo and just go on. You can imagine LaMelo Ball and Kuminga going forward. That
I don't have to imagine that. Let's imagine LaMelo moving the ball next to Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond.
We're forgetting.
That's way too much to even think about. That's way too much to even think about. That would have just, been stellar. But I think Kuminga in that situation is going to be beneficial for him. I wish LaMelo was in that, because now LaMelo, I wanted him to come off the bench, because it's just like Kobe's scenario. He had to work hard for it. Sometimes the young bucks, they're giving stuff, and it's all right, you might not appreciate this. And it's when you acquire that starting spot, you don't want to lose it. And sometimes, young guns, they might. I don't get it. It may be laissez-faire with the starting spot.
No, I get it, because
I don't think Scotty will be that way though.
Yeah, you look at a guy like Jaylen Brown too. He was drafted with the number 3 pick back in 2017 and was coming off the bench to Avery Bradley.
Avery was 20. Yeah, but the Avery was 20 though. He was just 20.
no knock to AB. Don't get me wrong, but it's kind of in terms of, I feel like I'm a raw talent coming into the league.
You knew what was coming on, yeah.
And you draft me top 3, damn. And I'm not even. He won't even 6 man. JB won't even the 6 man.
But they also had
in the presser during the playoffs. It was I've played in every role. Kind of how you were saying for a guy like JK. I've played in every role. I kind of know what it takes to win. I've seen it all. And then I can always, kind of what Nick was saying with Iggy talking to his teammates, when you're a guy who's been in every role, you can talk to other guys and they have to respect you, because you weren't a starter straight out when you came into the league. No matter how talented you were, you know what I mean? As a role player, you had to play a role.
Yep.
And we we talked about it earlier in the podcast that Kuminga came from the G League. It wasn't he's because Scotty Barnes was, if I'm not mistaken, 4 in that draft.
Yeah.
He played at Florida State. He instant impact. Everyone saw that, but everyone knew Kuminga was going to be a project. He had all the raw intangibles, but I do think, both great players, but I feel like feelings higher for
playmaking. I think I value playmaking a lot when it comes to young guys. And so just being able to see Scotty so early do that, even in a system with the Raptors where they kind of are moving the ball a lot, I just would have liked. I don't see Kuminga dribbling with his head up too much.
Okay. Yeah, he's more of attacking. He's more of a weapon right now. I give you that.
Right.
I'll give you that. Okay. Nick, real quick, and I'm glad we were able to talk about like talent in the East, talent in the West, because the NBA is still tough right now. But like, what conference would you rather play in though? The East or the West?
If I were to be an NBA player, okay, or on the team, I would rather be in the West, if I'm gonna be honest. Because
what's the reason?
The East has better teams, man. Like, yes, or no, I'll take that back. The West has better teams, but the East more like an aggregate of teams that could win a ship any given chance. Because no disrespect to Reese and the Celtics, because if I'm gonna be honest, I thought the Bucks were the best team in the East, but they didn't make it out. Like, everyone could be like the Warriors were the best team, right? But just the East is just so much competition within each other, and you're just going at each other. But in the West, you can kind of just like coast by. Like the Mavs, for example. Like the Mavs weren't like insane, okay? They were like good.
They coasted. They went to a game.
I'm not saying like coasted, but I'm saying like they kind of like just snuck their way to the conference finals. Like, think about it. They played the Jazz, who we always know the Jazz.
That's fair. That's a red carpet invitation.
They were the best team in the West this year, and they got 40-piece at home in a game 7. So like, I'm just saying the West has like more chance to succeed. But the East is definitely just like way more competitive.
And I will say, kind of piggybacking off that way more competitive statement, you look at defensive rating, top 5 teams, 4 of them are the East. If I'm a player, I want to play in the West because I'm probably going to get punched a little bit less. Just a little bit less. I'm not saying I'm not getting punched in the West, but I know I'm getting punched in the East. There's no question. I'm getting punched. You look at Milwaukee, Miami, Boston, just to name the top 3. You know what I mean? Defensive teams in the East. I'm good. I'd rather not, personally.
I'm just looking at teams like I hear y'all too, because like the East is caught up. Like the East definitely caught up. I said on the last one, I think Braun might have done, like, he might have a little fortune teller in him, because like he definitely left at the right time. Chose the wrong team, but left at the right time. But like they have caught up. I'm just looking at some of these squads. Like, I hear y'all on the defensive tip. I'm thinking the Nuggets when healthy, like the Clippers when healthy, Memphis. Hey, they might. Who knows what could have happened? Like, I do agree with Freddie on the last one. He was saying like Memphis could have won. Like, they could have. I'm still rolling with the Warriors, but they had a legitimate shot. Like, So it's like that's tough. And then Luka with Christian Wood now. Like, I would say the West, just because like I want to be like one of the people that like get Braun out the playoffs real quick. But that's just the hooper in me.
I don't know if I'm the only person. I am not that high on Christian Wood. I just don't think. Well, listen. I'll say this. I think Jason Kidd will kind of get that defense out of Christian Wood. But I think when you're running that 4 and 5 spot, you want. If I get beat, I want to be confident there's a guy behind me to recover. I cannot say that Christian Wood was that guy for Houston all season.
But can you say though he's better than the players they have now, like Kleber and Powell?
I don't think at the rim. I do not think he is better defensively than Kleber and Powell, because those guys are role players who know I am here and I have Luka's back and I love Luka. You know what I mean? Whereas Christian Wood is kind of like, I want to get 25 points on the other side, 20 to 25 points. You know what I mean? I don't know if Christian Wood has that two-way. He has to show me next season. It's hard playing on a team like Houston where you are the bottom of the league, and I feel like as a big, you can hold down my paint. I just can't. He has to show me on a contender. That's all. I guess I'll say that.
Well, here, because I've admired him his whole career, man. Because he was an undrafted guy. I mean, draft night, his girlfriend dumped him. Funny, that's like kind of a tidbit story, but he's just a guy who's put up the numbers. He's put up double numbers before, and
he averaged 18 and 10 this season, 21 and 10 last season. He's giving you 1 block, 1 steal. And you mentioned something, Reese, too. It's been on a trash squad. So what happens if he goes to this kid, like to the Mavs and kid, and he improves even more so? Like, I'm up on it.
I can't say anything. If he takes another, because that's what it will take, I think, though, for the Mavericks to get now at this point past the second round. Because the whole thing about Luka was how far can you really go with him? I feel like they're gonna need a guy like Christian Wood to elevate his game. He doesn't have to give you 18 and 10 per se, right? But defensively, I think it's going to be the most important that you feel like. I mean, you really think about the guys he's going to be going up against: a healthy Anthony Davis, a healthy Nikola Jokic. You know what I mean? Those are the guys that you're going to see. And then you think about a team like Golden State, you will be put on that island, if you like it or not. Welcome to the island. I hope you can dance.
But he's going up against Looney or Draymond too. Like at some point in time, you're gonna be on the island in the NBA. Like you gotta embrace that moment. Like that's obvious.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying.
You can't do that at all.
I didn't watch enough Houston basketball to say that. Like, you know what I mean? That's why I'm not gonna say anything, right, Nick? Because I understand his story and his grind. You have to nod your head to it, right? Especially coming from where he came from to where he is now. I just want to make sure that he's going to be able to give that extra effort on that island or in
Nick,
that.
It sounds like you believe that he will, though. Am I right or wrong?
I think he's going to be a good. I think he could potentially be the number 2 option on that team. I really think.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though, right? But that's number 2 scoring option, though, Nick. I'm saying if he is going to be your 5. Right, because that's what he played in Houston. He played the 5. If he's going to be my 5, Maxi Kleber put his body on the line. Dwight Powell put his body on the line.
But they're soft.
But they also can still be on the team putting their body on the line. Christian Wood could come in. I never thought Kristaps Porzingis was going to put his body on the line.
I don't either. That's why he had to get up out there.
But Christian Wood is going to be more productive in this role.
I think he's a lot more mobile than KP is.
And I think that'll help out with this situation. Like I honestly think the Mavs are going to come out rocking. Like
I believe in Jason Kidd
top 3
more than I believe in Christian Wood.
Top 3 team in the West next year for
sure. Yeah, top 3, maybe top 4, depending on like how teams come back. Because like the Warriors. And the Clippers.
I give them number 5.
I mean,
I got Golden State, Memphis, Lakers, Memphis Clippers, Mavs.
Y'all see
Memphis could regress too, though, just a little bit.
That's if they lose Dylan Brooks, as kind of the rumors are saying.
Well, I mean, do y'all think DeAnthony Melton was like a significant, not like a big piece? Like I liked him. He was like a quality. Bench guard.
I think it was an amazing pick for Philly. You need a backup point guard that can play defense, move the ball. He might not hit a 3 every time, but hell, that's why you put James Harden in the game. If you need Melton to start hitting a 3, just throw James Harden in the game. He gonna get them open. I believe in James Harden in that aspect. He can get guys open.
And kind of to touch even on that trade, like one player that we haven't even talked about, kind of like sleeper wise NBA draft, David Rodney, man. He's going to be a great player for Memphis. Like he was a star junior at Colorado State, man. Like
they say he looked like Tyus Jones if he took the Superman serum.
And he was getting buckets for Colorado State, and he looked really good against Michigan. Michigan's a great Big Ten team. He looked great against Michigan in the tournament. So that's another guy that I'm really high on for Memphis, because Memphis, young group, they're going to be good.
Yeah, and listen, y'all ready? Christmas Day, they going to Golden State.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
we're gonna see what happens.
Big facts. That should be a great game. That's gonna be a good little rivalry too. Like I can't wait for all, man.
I don't know. It's going to be a rivalry if Memphis ain't going to be dubbing though, because Warriors. I take Warriors like not 8 out of 10 times.
Yeah,
I mean, I think you lean Warriors, but in today's game, this would be considered a rivalry. Like I don't think the Lakers and Celtics have a rivalry anymore.
Because
you could say so. I mean, we just haven't played y'all enough times. Like right now, like when we played, like when in 2010, I felt like it was a rivalry. Okay, there's like that you know what I'm saying, that 08 series, y'all beat our ass. Like it's tough. Like okay, we gotta get this back, but there was still some animosity of level of respect thing. We ain't really been back though. So it's like, when we were there, one, I don't count it. Two, y'all weren't there. It's like, y'all here, we're not.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a club. This is a club.
Just the timelines haven't added up yet. Because I mean, shoot, where were the Celtics in 2020?
I mean, I don't count the bubble chip though, but that's another story for another day.
What are you in 2020? I'm about to say we were a game away.
I mean, y'all weren't in it.
Yeah,
it's true though. We weren't there though. Job was not finished. It is, but unfortunately,
that's the conclusion. Are we gonna conclude on the job? Okay.
That's all I'm saying. Unfortunately, this is though. Like I threw up the hands like this is everything, ready for it. I was paying attention. I was like, I'm not gonna hit 2 hours. I promise you. That's not what. That's
wait. Let me drop one last thing though. I'm on Twitter right now. In the tweet is Miles Bridges saluting LaMelo goodbye and removed Charlotte Hornets forward from his bio. And his story on Instagram was just this of them two and just him saying salute. So Miles Bridges might be on the move, and I think he's going to get overpaid wherever he goes.
Listen though, like I said, you have to sell tickets. Miles, wherever he goes, he will be in the sky selling tickets. It's a business. The NBA is a business at the end of the day. People, if you are not competing, you know what I mean? So, like you said, Trey, it for everybody, it's not about rings. We're talking about generational wealth that these guys are being paid. John Wall said it too. I mean, he retweeted. I can't remember who who said it. But at the end of the day, why would John Wall ever have denied or had accepted that $46 million? Why would he have gotten bought out any earlier? That's generational wealth right there. So if Miles Bridges can go somewhere and get overpaid, I salute him.
Yeah. I can't. Once an organization gives somebody the money, I can't be mad at the person. Like Toby, you got overpaid. I'm happy for you, but you got overpaid. Like you played well for the Clippers. You know what I'm saying? You had I like you. Like I think you could be a quality third option.
Yeah.
But you not for 30 mil. That's a little tough. That's a little steep. We could spread that out. You could be on the championship roster right now. But unfortunate. But still, congratulations to Toby. So
and soon, congratulations to Miles.
Hey, facts. That's tough. I was not expecting Miles to leave this soon, but it's fine. It is. Thank you for bringing that to our attention, Nick. That's helpful. I appreciate that. That's tough, Miles stuff. And LaMelo, because that was like a good little pairing that they had. But you got to sell what the tickets hot, because I don't think he's gonna hold it that long. I do not. I don't at all. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time we have. Thank y'all for joining the show. Reese, Nick, plug yourselves in so we can close off.
Hey, follow me on the gram @_Jarice. Come holler at me.
I ain't got much, but yeah, I mean, I'm a Wizards fan, so hopefully the Wizards re-sign Beal. Hopefully I'm on soon. Thank you for having me. But I hope next time I'm on, I'm talking about how the Wizards got Beal and like another superstar, maybe Kyrie. But no,
I mean, they're trying to float that idea or look at Kevin Durant too. I'm just saying, I don't think KD wants to come home, so it's fine. It's cool. But nah, well, next time when I have the Wizards gear on for you, I got you, because my homeboy Sharp was actually a fan too. So
okay,
yeah, but I'll make sure to focus specifically on the Wizards, because if you think I like to talk, he loves to talk. So just that I gotta narrow that one down a little bit. But I got you definitely though. Definitely come on the show whenever you want to. Just let Reed know or just hit me up, whatever. It's not a big deal. Sure. Like, I appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you.
For sure, appreciate you, Nick.
Yeah, of course. I enjoy this, man. This is just talking hoop, chopping it up. It's great.
That's all it is. We just being casual. We just being, consistent. That's all it is. So, but with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the show. So, hope you all enjoyed it. And again, guys, thank y'all for joining the show.
I did not know you guys were still here. as you can see, we're at the back end of the show. No pun intended, but look, hope you all enjoyed it. And before you go, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the IG account, share the content to anybody who's anybody. And most importantly, leave your thoughts and comments below. But I gotta go back and play Buddy in 2K, so let me unmute him real quick. Excuse me. Hey, boss, I'm back. Nah, you better catch this word. You know we get buckets around here, too.